Reality doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to what you silently vibrate. That phrase might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've been dedicating time to repeating positive affirmations, declaring intentions, and talking about the things you wish to attract. But here's an inconvenient truth that few dare to face. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your focus. You can say, "I am prosperous," hundreds of times a day, but if deep down your focus is on lack, on debt, on that constant feeling that nothing is working, then that's the vibration you're actually emitting, and that's what the energetic field responds to. It doesn't matter how much you speak, declare, or shout your desires. If what you're truly contemplating inside is the opposite, then the real creation is happening from that silent place, not from the words coming out of your mouth. Today, you're going to understand why your words often seem ignored by the universe. You'll discover the real power behind internal observation, that quiet place where your emotions, your attention, and your repetition silently build everything that manifests in your life. It's not about speaking louder, it's about feeling deeper. Let's step through this portal of awareness together, where creation doesn't happen in the sound of speech, but in the silence of vibration. The fallacy of disconnected words. Words have power, but that power only activates when they're aligned with what you vibrate. Otherwise, they become just empty sounds, pretty declarations trying to mask a misaligned inner frequency. That's the fallacy of disconnected words, believing that simply saying something many times can, on its own, change reality. On the surface, that might even sound logical. After all, we're taught from a young age to repeat what we want, to verbalize our desires, to affirm our dreams. And yes, affirming is a step, but it's not the main one. The real command that shapes reality doesn't come from your mouth. It comes from the vibration behind what you're saying. Picture someone saying, "I'm fine," with a smile, but their eyes are dim, their shoulders slumped, and their chest tight. You can feel, without needing an explanation, that something's off. The words say one thing, but the energy says something else. The universe perceives this in the same way. It isn't swayed by scripted phrases. It responds to the actual vibrational field you emit, the one behind the words, upheld by the emotions you silently nourish. That's why so many people affirm every day, "I am abundant, I am confident, I am living my best version," yet remain stuck in the same cycles, facing the same blocks, repeating the same patterns. Because in truth, what they're really observing inside is lack, doubt, and fear. They look at life through the eyes of scarcity, even as they say, "I trust." Vibration doesn't lie, and it's vibration that creates. Words, when disconnected from feeling, are like loose leaves in the wind. They don't take root, they don't bear fruit, they don't transform, they just spin around the intention, never landing in the field of manifestation. It's like trying to push open a locked door using only your voice, without realizing the key is in the vibration behind it all. The quantum field, that invisible ocean of energy from which everything arises, doesn't recognize mechanical motivational phrases. It responds to coherence, to the alignment between what you say and what you feel. When there's a misalignment, the field doesn't follow the intention of your words. It replicates the strongest, most present, most active vibrational pattern. And more often than not, that pattern is hidden in the silent observations you make about yourself and your life. That's the trap for those who believe solely in the power of affirmation, saying something over and over without working on internal focus, without questioning what's being contemplated behind the scenes of the mind. Speech used that way becomes a kind of energetic mask, and no mask can fool the universe. This isn't about giving up affirmations or abandoning the conscious use of words. It's about realizing that words only activate their power when anchored in consistent emotional focus. When you say, "I am light," and at the same time you cultivate gratitude, notice beauty, and recognize growth even through challenges, then your words become seeds, because there is vibrational truth supporting what was said. The universe reads frequency, not grammar. It doesn't translate sentences, it translates vibrational states. A word only becomes creative when it reflects what's being observed with feeling, intention, and presence. And that is the key to turning any affirmation into reality. Aligning the word with the vibration, the speech with the focus, the sound with the feeling. Internal focus is the true silent prayer. There is something deeply sacred about the act of observing, something that goes beyond words, surpasses rituals, and connects directly with the essence of creation. And yet, this very thing is what most people overlook in their daily lives. We were taught to pray with words, to seek help by speaking our desires, to repeat prayers and mantras as if the sound of our voice were the main channel of communication with the divine. But there is a far more powerful form of prayer, one that happens in complete silence, internal focus. Everything you contemplate repeatedly, with emotion, attention, and involvement, is your true prayer. It doesn't matter if you never say it out loud. The universe, the quantum field, the energy of creation responds to what you're looking at on the inside. And in this case, looking doesn't refer to your physical eyes, but to the place where you position your awareness. What do you frequently contemplate within? What do you emotionally relive, even if no one notices? What kind of stories do you repeat to yourself between the lines of your mind? These silent observations are constantly emitting signals, forming a vibrational field that speaks much louder than any phrase spoken aloud. This is a point few understand, but it completely transforms the way you relate to the creation of your reality. When you realize that your focus is a prayer in motion, you start to pay attention to what you're feeding internally. You begin to notice that whatever you choose to observe is what you're offering to the universe as truth, even if outwardly you say the opposite. Some may say, "I believe everything will get better." But inside, they feed images of failure, replay painful moments, revisit arguments and situations that didn't work out. And that silent emotional focus is what's being transmitted as a vibrational request. It's not what is declared, but what is emotionally contemplated that turns into reality. That's why focus is so powerful, because it's constant. It doesn't rely on rituals, it's happening all the time. Even when you're not speaking, you're focusing on something. You're looking, feeling, interpreting, judging, remembering, imagining. And all of that is being converted into frequency, into energetic signal, into direct communication with the field where possibilities take shape. Creation happens in that space of inner silence, where your attention rests. Focus is like a lens that magnifies what you observe most, and the universe, faithfully responding to your vibration, magnifies it in your external experience as well. If you focus on peace, even while the world around you is in chaos, you become a point of harmony within the chaos. If you focus on lack, even in the midst of abundance, you activate absence, because that's what your energy is offering as truth. This is both the beauty and the responsibility of consciousness. Realizing that what you focus on is not just a thought, it's an act of creation. Every time you mentally return to an image, an emotion, or an expectation, you are praying. You are saying to the universe, "This is where I am. This is what I choose to sustain. This is what I believe is real." And the universe always responds, not with judgment, but with vibrational matching. It reflects your internal observation back to you. And that's why you create with focus, not with words. Words are important, yes, but only when they're born from rooted focus, aligned attention, and coherent vibration. True prayer doesn't lie in memorized phrases, but in what you feel as you observe the world within. Because there, in that space where no one else can see, lies the seed of your future reality. That is the exact point where the invisible begins to move toward becoming visible. That is your co-creation in motion, silent, constant, and absolutely faithful to what you choose to contemplate. How to know what you're truly emitting? One of the most important questions in the process of conscious awakening is, what am I really emitting to the universe? Because no matter how much you desire something, talk about it, visualize it from time to time, or even affirm it frequently, what's truly shaping your reality is your dominant vibration. That is, what you're feeling and contemplating most of the time. often without even realizing it. It's easy to get lost in declared intentions, chosen words, and the goals you say you want to achieve. But the universe isn't guided by declarations of intent. It's guided by vibrational coherence. And that coherence is directly tied to what fills your mind and emotions in silence. The question that reveals everything is simple. In the silence of your mind, what do you observe most? What do you constantly replay when no one's around? What scenarios do you most often imagine, even unintentionally? Are they scenes of trust, expansion, beauty, fulfillment? Or are they memories of pain, predictions of failure, fears disguised as realism? Many times, real focus is so automated that the person doesn't even notice what they're emitting. They say they trust, but they're always preparing for the worst. They say they're grateful, but spend their days silently complaining. They say they want to grow, but feed beliefs that it's hard, too late, or simply not possible. And all of that internal vibration, that hidden emotional field, is what's actually creating their experience. To know what you're truly emitting, observe how you feel when you think about your own desires. When you imagine what you want to manifest, do you feel excited or tense, hopeful or doubtful, expanded or contracted? Because your emotion is the immediate reflection of the vibration you're sustaining. It can't be hidden. The body always reveals it. More than that, watch your repetitive impulses. Watch where your mind goes when you're at rest, when you're not forcing positive thoughts. Those automatic movements of consciousness reveal with precision what's dominating your field. There's no point in repeating "I'm ready" if deep down you still believe you're unworthy. The universe picks up on the emotional root, not the mental gloss. The deeper truth here is understanding that you are always in a state of emission. With every sustained thought, every nurtured emotion, every image contemplated with feeling, you are transmitting a frequency, and that frequency is activating resonances in the field. The universe doesn't pause. It's always responding, always reflecting, always mirroring what you vibrate as truth. That's why it's essential to cultivate loving self-observation, not criticism. It's not about judging what you feel or think, but about honestly perceiving what's being emitted. Because only when you recognize the focus dominating your vibration can you choose to shift it. And that is liberating, knowing that it's not what you say that defines your creation, but what you consistently observe internally, with repetition and emotion. Knowing that if something undesirable is manifesting, there is a vibrational root that can be brought to light and reprogrammed. And the first step in that transformation is simply seeing it clearly. That clarity paves the way for coherence. It allows your words, actions, and feelings to begin moving in the same direction. And from that alignment, the energetic field begins to respond differently. Because you're no longer just wishing, you're consciously vibrating what you choose to live. External reality then starts reflecting the new focus. Not because you spoke louder, but because you finally started listening closely to what you had been silently telling yourself all along. Coherence between word and focus aligns creation. There is a powerful turning point on the path of manifestation, and it happens when word meets focus. When what is spoken aligns with what is felt, when the sound of the voice and the silence of the mind finally begin to vibrate at the same frequency. This point is called vibrational coherence, and it's in this space that conscious creation becomes inevitable. Many people don't realize there's a gap between what they say and what they're observing internally. They say, "I am light," yet continue to contemplate darkness. They say, "I am abundance," but keep focusing on what's missing. They say, "I am love," while holding on to resentment, comparisons, and old wounds. The universe doesn't respond to what's spoken out of habit or hope. It responds to the vibrational field being consistently sustained. When words are used merely as a way to compensate for an unaligned focus, they lose their power. But when words flow as an extension of a focus nourished with truth, emotion, and presence, they become an anchor, a bridge between the invisible and the visible, between what's being generated internally and what will be manifested externally. Coherence between word and focus creates a field of power. It's no longer just a loose intention, it becomes a consolidated frequency. You feel what you say, you observe what you declare, you vibrate what you affirm. And when this integration happens, the universe responds clearly and quickly. Not because something magical occurred outside of you, but because within you, a stable channel of creation was formed. Imagine someone affirming, "I am peace," while observing nature, breathing with presence, expressing gratitude for the little things, refusing to engage in unnecessary conflict. That person is using the word as a seed and focus as fertile soil. They are uniting the power of the word with the consistency of attention. They are creating not only through what is said, but through what is lived silently. In this state of coherence, words stop being attempts and become confirmations. You don't say "I am" to try to convince the universe. You say it because you feel you already are. The affirmation becomes recognition, not a plea. And that subtle shift changes everything. Using words as tools to anchor your focus is one of the most powerful secrets of conscious creation. Instead of using words to deny what is being felt, you begin using them to strengthen what is already being contemplated within. You notice beauty, feel gratitude, acknowledge growth, and then affirm, "I am abundance." The phrase doesn't come to fix anything. It comes to confirm a vibration already pulsing. That's the point where words gain real strength. They stop being mental effort and become vibrational declarations. And the more you repeat words aligned with coherent focus, the stronger that field becomes. It's like watering a seed that has already begun to sprout. Conscious repetition reinforces neural pathways, stabilizes your energetic field, and accelerates manifestation. Coherence between what you say and what you contemplate is like tuning an instrument. When mind, emotion, and words strike the same note, reality echoes that frequency with precision. You stop creating by accident and start co-creating with clarity. And it's in that space that life begins to respond differently. Coincidences intensify. Doors open with more ease. Experiences begin to reflect with fidelity what you vibrate. Not because you forced anything, but because you are in truth with what you hold inside and speak with awareness. In this state, your words become creative not because of their volume, but because of the silent vibration that accompanies them. Because where there is coherence, there is power. And where there is conscious power, reality bends naturally. Technique: affirming with present observation. Now that you understand the difference between empty words and real vibration, you're ready to access one of the most transformative practices available: merging affirmation with presence. This is the moment when speech becomes living energy, when the word meets the inner image, and creation begins to move with real force. It's not about repeating a phrase mechanically, but about feeling it reverberate within you as a truth in progress. The mind has a natural ability to create images. Every time you think something intensely, your inner system responds with scenes, sensations, and emotions. This happens all the time, consciously or unconsciously. Most people visualize the worst without realizing it. When they feel fear, for example, the mind projects images of loss, failure, or rejection. And by sustaining that observation, they are vibrationally co-creating those experiences. But the opposite is also possible. You can consciously direct your mind to observe what you want to live. And when that observation is paired with an affirmation spoken with presence, it becomes a powerful energetic practice. That's where the technique comes in. Affirming with present observation means choosing a phrase that represents your desired state and then creating a space of conscious silence, allowing that phrase to unfold into inner images, bodily sensations, and real emotion. When you close your eyes and affirm, for example, "I live in harmony," and let that phrase echo within you with full attention, your mind begins to offer images that support the idea. You might visualize a peaceful setting, people smiling, yourself breathing calmly, feeling light and free. Maybe a memory of a serene moment surfaces, or maybe your imagination creates something entirely new. The key is not to force it, just observe what arises while holding focus on the affirmation. This union between word and inner image creates a vibrational field far stronger than empty repetition. Because now it's not just the sound of the phrase that's active, your whole system is involved. Your body feels it, your heart recognizes it, your mind holds it, and your energy begins to organize around it. Practiced with consistency and presence, this reprograms internal patterns and begins to reshape your external field with greater speed. It's natural that at first your mind might resist. It may say it's just imagination, that it's not real, that it won't work. But remember, everything that's now tangible once began as silent focus. Everything in the material world first passed through vibration, intention, and internal contemplation. You're not doing something new. You're just reversing the unconscious process. Now you're choosing what to contemplate with intention. And the most amazing part? It doesn't take much time. Just 3 minutes a day is enough to start creating new neural pathways, new emotional frequencies, and eventually new realities. 3 silent minutes, fully present, affirming something with truth, and allowing the inner image to form, is infinitely more powerful than saying 100 disconnected phrases out loud. You can do this practice in the morning to align your day, or at night to imprint the vibration into your field while your body rests. The exact moment doesn't matter as much as the quality of your presence. What matters is how deeply you engage with the phrase, how open you are to feeling what it activates in you, and how willing you are to simply observe, without rushing, without doubting, without resisting. It's in this state of vibrational presence that the affirmation stops being just an idea and begins to become a field of reality. You're not just saying, "I am peace," you're feeling peace, seeing peace, vibrating peace. And when that state stabilizes, the universe responds. Not because you spoke, but because you aligned with what you declared. Internal silence, where real creation happens. There is a place within you where everything begins, a quiet point, almost imperceptible, yet filled with creative power. It's not a space of logical thinking, nor of constant verbalizing. It's the space where the mind grows still, where words cease, and where the energy of creation can finally flow without interference. It is in this internal silence that real creation happens. For a long time, we've been conditioned to believe we must struggle to manifest, that reality only transforms through intense action or endless repetition. But there's a subtler wisdom operating behind what is visible, and that wisdom can only be accessed when you learn to enter the silence, not as the absence of sound, but as pure presence. In this state of inner silence, you're not trying to force anything. You're not trying to convince the universe of anything. You simply are, present, aware, observing without resistance. And it's exactly that vibrational neutrality that opens the way for the quantum field to reorganize reality around you. Because it's in silence that focus stabilizes. It's in silence that vibration is purified. It's in silence that intention aligns with essence. A noisy mind is always reacting, trying to fix, solve, understand. But silence is receptive. It doesn't react, it observes. And when you enter this state of silent presence, your vibrational field begins to emit purer, more coherent signals. You stop creating from anxiety, doubt, or the need for control, and begin creating from trust, surrender, and clarity. Silence is fertile. It seems empty, but it's full of possibilities. In it, you become one with the creative field. There is no separation between the one who desires and the desired. No resistance between wanting and receiving. Only presence. And in that presence, focus becomes more powerful than any word could ever be. When you observe inwardly, without getting lost in thoughts or judgments, you offer the universe a clean vibration. You are saying without saying, "This is what I choose to sustain." And that silent sustaining is infinitely more powerful than any anxious spoken request. The universe understands this kind of language because it too vibrates in silence. There are moments when you no longer need to affirm anything. You just need to remain seated, breathing, feeling, maybe visualizing, but without effort, allowing the inner scene to unfold, the emotion to settle, the vibration to replace doubt. In that space, you're not asking, you're co-creating. You are becoming the very channel of what you wish to experience. Inner silence is not the end of action. It is the beginning of true action, the kind born from clarity, intuition, and connection with something greater. When you learn to remain silent with presence, you begin to realize you don't need to chase after reality. Reality begins to come to you because your vibration is open, aligned, and receptive. This kind of silence is a daily choice. In the midst of the noise of the world, the tasks, the external and internal voices, you can return within. You can take a deep breath and find that space where nothing needs to be said, where everything is already being created. And the more time you spend there, the more you begin to feel that you are not alone. There is an intelligence vibrating with you, responding, organizing, delivering. It is in this silence that you reconnect with your source. And from that reconnection, everything changes. Creation stops being effort and becomes flow. Manifestation stops being a chase and becomes a reflection. Because you're no longer trying to reach for something outside of you. You're allowing what already vibrates within you to take form on the outside. We've come to the end of our journey, and perhaps now you can feel more clearly what has always been shaping your reality. Not what you spoke with your lips, but what you held in silence. The vibration you nurture in the invisible is the true language of the universe. It is what guides the meetings, the path, the reflections of your life. Your reality doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you observe with faith, repetition, and feeling. That's why the invitation is simple yet profound. For the next 24 hours, speak less and observe more. Choose an internal focus that represents what you wish to live, and stay there, with confidence, with presence. Because the universe doesn't read your lips, it feels your frequency. And when that frequency becomes coherent, silent, and steady, reality has no choice but to respond.